All right, let's dive into a real classic of American literature, Nathaniel Hawthorne's The Scarlet Letter. This is a story that's all about public shame, private guilt, and just how destructive one single secret can be. So let's get right into this world.
So everything, and I mean everything in this story revolves around a single embroidered letter. It's a symbol, sure, but it's also the key to a hidden truth that's going to tie together and, completely shatter the lives of three people. And they're doing all this under the super judgmental gaze of a really, really strict society.
Okay, so let's set the scene. We're talking 17th century Puritan Boston. This is a community governed by some seriously ironclad religious laws. There's basically zero room for error, and if you mess up, well, their go-to method of correction is public humiliation. Not a fun place to make a mistake. And the story kicks off with this incredibly powerful image. You've got this young woman, Hester Prynne, and she's forced to stand on a public scaffold for everyone to see. She's holding her baby, Pearl, and right there on her chest is the mark of her crime, a big scarlet letter A. Now, the crowd, they're expecting her to be ashamed, to be submissive. But Hester, she gives them something totally different. She gives them defiance. And this is how she just completely flips the script on them. See, the town wanted that A to be this dull, ugly mark of shame. But Hester? Nope. She embroiders it with this gorgeous, vibrant gold thread. She turns their punishment into a piece of art. It's her first real act of rebellion. She's basically saying, you don't get to define me. And this is huge, she absolutely refuses to name her lover. She's going to carry this whole burden by herself. But here's the thing. Hester isn't the only one caught in this web. There are actually three people, three souls, all tied together by this one secret. And for each of them, it's going to lead to a very specific and very devastating kind of torment.
And this right here, this contrast gets to the absolute heart of the novel. You've got Hester on one side, right? Her sin is public knowledge, everyone knows. She's an outcast, and she has to deal with that shame every single day. But weirdly enough, that actually makes her stronger. Then you've got the other side of the coin, the town's super revered minister, Arthur Dimmesdale. He's Pearl's father, and his guilt is a secret. And that secret guilt, it's like a poison, just literally eating him alive from the inside.
So you'd think things couldn't get more tense, right? Wrong. A third person shows up in the crowd. And guess who it is? It's Hester's husband, a guy everyone thought was lost at sea, dead for years. He shows up at the exact moment she's being publicly shamed. He decides to go by a new name, Roger Chillingworth, keeps his real identity a secret, and makes this absolutely bone-chilling vow. He's going to find the man who is with his wife, and he is going to destroy him. And Chillingworth? Man, this guy is smart, and he is cruel. He pretty quickly suspects it's the minister. So what does he do? He pretends to be a doctor so he can become Dimmesdale's personal physician. This lets him get so close. And for years, he acts like his friend, his confidant, all while psychologically torturing this man who's already in complete agony. It's just this slow, twisted, and honestly terrifying form of revenge.
Okay, let's talk about maybe the most powerful symbol in the whole book. And it's not an object, it's a person. Hester's daughter, Pearl. You have to understand, she's not just a kid in this story. She is the living, breathing result of that secret affair.
No, really, think about it for a second. Pearl is basically the Scarlet Letter made human. She's beautiful, but she's also wild, almost like a force of nature, running around in a society that's all about conformity. You can't control her, and her very presence is a constant reminder to everyone of the broken rules, of the passion that brought her into the world. So what's her purpose in the story? Well, Pearl's job is basically to make sure the truth doesn't get swept under the rug. She's absolutely fascinated by that scarlet A on her mom's chest. She seems to have this weird, instinctual connection to Dimmesdale and his suffering, and she's always asking these super sharp questions that just poke and prod at the secret, pushing her parents closer and closer to the one thing they're terrified of, but also desperately need, a confession. All right, fast forward 7 years. 7! All this time, Hester has watched Dimmesdale just wither away under Chillingworth's constant psychological torture. And finally, she just decides enough is enough. I can't let this happen anymore. And that decision, well, that's a huge turning point. I mean, just look at this timeline. For 7 long years, Hester is an outcast, Dimmesdale is being tormented from the inside by guilt and from the outside by Chillingworth, and that secret has just been rotting away at the center of everything.
It's this incredible amount of suffering that finally pushes Hester to do something drastic.
So think about it. Where on earth can two people with a secret this big actually talk freely? Not in town, that's for sure. The town is all about rules, judgment, secrets. No, they have to go to the forest. The forest is this symbolic place. It's outside of society's control. It stands for nature, freedom, passion, truth. It's literally the only place where they can be their real selves.
And out there in the forest, the truth finally spills out. Hester tells Dimmesdale who Chillingworth really is, her husband. And for just a second, there's this glimmer of hope. They make a plan. They're going to run away to Europe, take Pearl, and start a new life. And in this incredibly powerful moment, Hester actually takes off the Scarlet Letter and throws it on the ground. She's free. But when Pearl sees her mom without the A, she freaks out. She doesn't even recognize her. It's a brutal reminder that this symbol, it's become a part of who they are. You can't just toss it aside. Now, that plan to escape, it gives Dimmesdale this new, weird burst of energy. But yeah, it's not going to happen. The climax of the whole novel is coming, and it all goes down on Election Day, a big public holiday when literally the entire town is gathered together. So Dimmesdale gets up and delivers the most amazing sermon of his entire career. He's on top of the world. But right at the peak of the celebration, he looks out and sees Hester and Pearl. And where are they standing? Right by the scaffold, the exact same spot where his suffering all began 7 years ago. And when he sees them, he knows. He knows what he has to do. And in this just shocking turn of events, he walks right over to the scaffold and calls Hester and Pearl up there with him. In front of everyone, he confesses everything. He tells the whole horrified town that he is Pearl's father. Then he tears open his shirt, and some people swear they saw it, his own Scarlet Letter, somehow carved right into his chest. In that moment of truth, Pearl finally kisses him, and it's like a curse is broken. And then he just collapses and dies, finally free from all that secret guilt. Okay, so Dimmesdale's confession, it changes absolutely everything. The secret is finally out in the open, and for everyone left, life is never going to be the same. So with the secret out, let's look at what happens to everyone else. Chillingworth? Well, his whole reason for living was revenge. Once that's gone, he basically just withers away and dies within a year. Pearl, she's finally free from this whole dark cloud. She actually inherits all of Chillingworth's money and goes on to have a happy life over in Europe. And then there's Hester. After many years, she actually comes back. And she chooses to put the Scarlet Letter back on. But now it's not a mark of shame. It's a symbol of everything she survived, of her strength and her wisdom. And that really gets to the incredible journey of the letter A itself. I mean, it starts out meaning one thing, right? Adultery. It's a public brand, a mark of shame. But then, because Hester is so dignified and helps so many people, the townspeople start to whisper that maybe it stands for able. But by the end of it all, it's something way more profound. It's just her. It's an emblem of her identity, her pain, and her incredible strength. So if you're going to take one single lesson away from this whole story, it's probably this. Hawthorne is making a powerful point that the sin you hide in the dark, the guilt that you let eat you up from the inside, like Dimmesdale did, that is so much more destructive than any punishment you face out in the open, like Hester did. And that kind of leaves us with one final thought to chew on, doesn't it? The Scarlet Letter, it was a real physical thing, a symbol of judgment forced on someone by their community. And it just makes you wonder, what are the Scarlet Letters of today? What are the invisible labels that we and our society still put on people?